Okay, so here we are. We're in the presentation room, and I'm going to run you through just a couple of the workshops that we have lined up. So we've got rapid reading made easy. Let's see if we can seamlessly, if it will jump between these. We've got, yes, it will, welcome. We've got the resiliency workshop. We have got the genius code, as if by magic. There we go. Got the Genius Code workshop as well. We have got the happiness generator workshop. So how can you generate more happiness in your life? We've got the living the law of attraction based on the work of Jack Canfield and Dr. Paul Shealy. And whoops, let's see. And we have got the Abundance for Life workshop. So these are the 6 workshops. My plan is when I'm doing the beta test next week, so that's coming up in a few days from now. So thank you so much for those of you who have signed up to for free to give me some feedback. We're going to be doing little mini tasters. So I'm going to do you an overview, for example, of the workshops, give you a sense of what the workshops are about, what's included, how are they structured, what are we covering, a little bit about the background and development. So this one is based on the work of Dr. Paul Shealy. I'd say it's a light version of photo reading. So for those of you who have done photo reading, you'll recognize some of this. You might want to actually use it as a really good refresher, but this is about if you're in information overload, for example. So that's this one. Something like resiliency, which when I looked at this one, I was like, oh my goodness, this is probably the perfect workshop for what we've all been going through, because it is looking at what's been going on in your life. This, if you look at the resilience of definition, a person's ability to absorb high levels of disruptive change, bounce back, and even excel in times of change and uncertainty without acting in dysfunctional ways. My goodness, if that doesn't speak to the past 3 years, I don't know what does. So it's something like the resiliency workshop. What we're doing with this one is looking at, okay, how do you master the basics, the foundations of resiliency to give yourself more resiliency? So this one is looking at your resiliency skills, discovering what makes some people more resilient than others. There's a really great quiz. If you're doing the full workshop, you'll get that in the workbook. There's the 7 principles for developing resiliency. There's learning to use the strain pause method. That's a practical thing that you can do. Again, teach that on the full workshop. We'll look at and have a discussion around, okay, what are some of the personal events that have affected your resiliency, looking at how you can get back and determine your what we call locus of control for how you respond to change. And this is useful not just in your daily life, but in your work, career, etc., particularly if you work in a stressful job, learning about factors that can contribute to health and well-being. And then, most importantly, creating a self-sustaining action plan for maintaining your health and well-being. One of the things I really like about these workshops, they're all very practical. So talk about some of the foundation pieces, but actually, what are we going to do about it? So really, really love them for that. So we will go through all of these things. This is the quiz, so you can do the quiz. You can rate yourself if you're doing the full workshop. And this one in particular, as I was going through the slides, I'm like, actually, I really like this one. It could lend itself to a really perfect corporate workshop as well, because it's a really nice standalone. So with each of the workshops that are included, what I will be doing is going through those workshops. We're going to be pulling out some of the key aspects, the key issues. Happiness generator, this is based on the work of Marcy Shimoff. So I'll give you a little bit of an introduction. I'll explain why I've chosen those 3 photos. We'll then look at, okay, what's the purpose for the workshop? So this one is about creating a foundation and a home for happiness, building a strong structure, looking at the surroundings, and putting yourself in a place and space mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally to thrive and to flourish. So this is probably a really lovely one to start the new year with. And then what we're covering in this one, the contraction expansion exercise, looking at 7 areas using the metaphor of a house. We're looking at the law of attraction, going through the happiness continuum, the happiness set point, happiness habits, and again, closing with the success plan. All of them very practical. And there are a couple, as I was going through them, for example, um, I had a few ideas for some of the things that I might do to enhance and add to what we're doing and teaching here. So this one, for example, the key to living your dreams and living the law of attraction, looking at how can you understand, how can you apply the law of attraction, about aligning with your purpose, identifying and prioritizing your dreams, setting specific goals, the visualization, affirmation, and again creating an action plan. Now, for those of you who have worked with me before, or we've had this, you talked about this particular topic, and definitely those of you in my membership group, you will know that I'm not a fan of goal setting, and I'm not overly massively a fan of affirmations, but there's a reason for that. I'm talking about when they're not used in a way that is helpful to the person using them. And often the way people set it up and the way the paradigm is set up, that you're set up to fail in a way. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'll bring in some of that information and data about the way that you can think about what you create and generate. I may also bring in a little bit of the access consciousness, because that's got a really lovely way of looking at goals and the creation process, and also the power of the words that sit around them. So when I say about maybe looking at ways to add to this and enhance it, that's what I mean. So I'll probably bring that in to play with this one, for example, as we go through. And that's the sort of thing I'm going to be fleshing out when we do the beta testing workshop, where we're going through a little intro for each of the 6 workshops. What are they all about? And then I'll cherry pick a few of the exercises that I want to run in real time, so I can get a sense of the timing, I can get a sense of how they land, I can get feedback from those who are taking part, and I can see, do I want to leave it as is, or can I think or see ways that I could further enhance that to help those taking part get even more out of the processes. So that's what I have planned with regards to this one. What I'm probably also going to do is, I'm thinking, because I know there are some of you out there, you've purchased this as a block, so you've done a block booking for all 6 of the programs, and you got the paraliminal set, the 61 paraliminals, as part of that process as well. So what I'll most likely do as we go through is I will recommend the paraliminals that will be a really good fit for each of the workshops. For example, let's say we're doing living the law of attraction, you may want to look at the paraliminal about abundance, the wealth mindset, the miracle mindset. For example, with the for the happiness, you might want to look at the happy for no reason. You might want to look at the joy paraliminal, for example. You may want to do the one about finding yourself. So as we go through, what I'll do is I'll recommend the paraliminals that you can use that are in your paraliminal library, wherever you put the app, whether it's on your phone, on your device, etc. And that will be a really good way to continue to bring together and to enhance everything that we are doing. So yes, that's a little taster of what I have coming up with regards to these 6 workshops. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be very, very interesting, and doing them, I think, as a block as we go through. Now, the order and sequence was not decided by me. I did a survey and just asked people just to click which one do you want to do first, second, third, fourth. What format would you prefer? Do you want to do half-day workshops, smaller modules, online, in person, etc.? And so based on the results of the survey, that is going to determine the order and sequence in which I go through. And also, for those of you who have already booked, if you're watching this in real time and you haven't gotten back to me yet, I've sent you a list of all of the dates that I can do in the next 3 months. So what I want to do is get those dates in the diary. So number one, it's important, because there'll be times I'll send dates out if people are a little bit slow and lackadaisical and getting back to me. By the time they get back to me, I'm like, I'm sorry, that date's no longer free. So it's that you snooze, you lose. So get back to me with the dates, because what will happen is I'll go out to the people who have booked first, choose a date that I know they can do, because there's no point you book on it and then I choose a date and you go, oh, I can't do that. So I want to make sure that everyone can do the dates that we're going to be doing as the first rollout. And then once I've got those dates in, I will release the dates to the public, and then people can see whether or not they're free. So yes, if you haven't gotten back to me yet with dates, please, please, please do that ASAP. That would be fabulous. And also, if you know someone who could benefit from one or all of these workshops, please feel free to share the link with them. Share when I start rolling out the individual workshops, because you don't have to book the block. It's just a much more cost-effective way to do it, but you can just do the one that you want to do. So yeah, it will be amazing if you would share that as well. That would be fabulous. I guess easiest way to find it when I've rolled them out is be on the e-newsletter list. But if you're not on my e-newsletter list, then go to my main website, www.transformationstm.com, TRANCE, F for Freddy, so FOR, M for mother, MATIONS, TM, so transformationstm.com. Click the red What's New button, a panel will slide out, and you'll just have a little scroll. You'll see some of the recent things that are happening. If you're not on the e-newsletter list and you want the update, on the left-hand side, top left of the website, you'll see a sign-up box that will put you into my MailChimp e-newsletter. And those of you on my e-newsletter know that when I pre-launch this, you'll get a special pre-launch price, which is not available to the public. So if you wanted to get that, then just make sure you are on the e-newsletter list. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you to those of you who have signed up. Really appreciate it. And also thank you to those who have shared this information. Wonderful. I shall leave it there. Marilyn Devonish, the Neuro Success Coach, over and out. And I very much look forward to working with you all on this brand new material. Catch you all later, and I'll see you in the webinar room.